In order to help Catherine, Meredith and Nick returned to Seattle. Catherine remained the leader. She continued to operate multiple hospitals despite her health crisis. And tonight, when one of her pals needed a liver transplant, she summoned two of her best surgeons. Evan and Tasha Lawson were friends with Catherine. Tasha was a bright college lecturer. Tasha's liver was failing her, so no one could tell. She developed memory problems as a result. She frequently loses track of her location or the fact that she even requires surgery. Two other hospitals turned Tasha away. They were all unwilling to assist her. They simply pushed her away, and to make things worse, they fired her wife as well. Her spouse works as a doctor. Evan had excellent surgical skills. Catherine herself trained her. Evan made an effort to explain to the others what her wife required. The physician spotted two black women and ignored her. The medical industry was rife with racism, which frequently left black women at risk for abuse. Tasha ought to have been included to the donors list right away. Since no one would listen, she was jaundiced at the beginning of tonight. Knowing that Tasha and Evan will receive treatment at Grace Sloan Memorial, Catherine persuaded them to visit. The greatest medical professionals would also treat them, but Richard and Meredith had problems behind the scenes. Meredith kept Richard in the dark about his wife's cancer diagnosis. Richard didn't care that she was officially bound by patient-doctor confidentiality. Meredith is the one he would rather be upset with than Catherine. For months, Catherine was the one who misled him. She is the one who didn't disclose that she was undergoing surgery until she almost passed away, and Richard had to decide how to treat her. Since then, Richard has forgiven his wife. Meredith has not won his forgiveness. Meredith and Richard argued about everything all the time. Additionally, they were unable to vent their annoyance on the interns. The interns were at a retreat for mental health. Bailey brought in a professional psychologist to assist the interns while she ran it out of her home. It was a brilliant concept. The expert wasn't ready for the stories the surgical interns were telling, therefore it didn't work out. When Lucas was grazed by a bullet during an armed robbery, he was able to form a bond with the victim. When Mika left the program, Jules lost her girlfriend. In front of her, Mika almost died. Despite saving Mika's life, their relationship was not saved. Jules stated that the sole purpose of this retreat was to make sure that none of the others would also flame out. She became irate because she was irate. Meredith and Richard reached the same conclusion. They discovered that Tasha's memory issues were not solely caused by her deteriorating liver. She suffers from dementia. 2 years ago, she received a diagnosis. She was not included to the donation list by the other hospital because of this. Evan tried to get her wife a new liver by manipulating her paperwork. She told Catherine a falsehood as well. Catherine advocated on Tasha's behalf to the donor committee. When Meredith ordered more testing for Tasha, she discovered that she had dementia. When Richard requested that Tasha's complete medical records be faxed to his hospital, he learned about it. To halt that procedure, they banded together. They addressed Catherine first since they believed she was aware of it. They realized it was all Evan when she became upset over the lies. Evan wasn't prepared for her wife to pass away from liver disease. She would have purchased several months for Tasha, a year or two perhaps. She would eventually die from Alzheimer's, so it would all have been in vain. The procedure was halted. Tasha and her wife didn't care about the liver or the effort required to transfer it. Ben and Winston received the liver. It was being transported by automobile. A father who had crashed his motorcycle off the side of the road was discovered by them. To make sure he survived and made it to the hospital, they had to operate on him right there. They accomplished all of that. Therefore, Evan's lies did have some positive effects.